Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. In this video, I'm going to give everyone an update, my overall analysis on the 8 night games, and then in a separate video I'm filming after this, I will be going through all 25 of my brackets. We're going to be looking, where is my bracket? I'll tell you guys right now, my personal bracket, 92nd percentile right now. According to ESPN, I went 12-4 yesterday overall in the games. Let's get into it right now. Oral Roberts and Duke. And this is just one of those rare moments where a 12 seed simply doesn't show up. Oral Roberts had 0 points with 13 minutes left in the first half. They were down, I think, 12-0. And this game was just not competitive at all. This is total domination by Duke. A lot of us did have Duke winning this game. And guys, this 12v5 situation, very important. Both 5 seeds winning yesterday, that gives me more confidence to think maybe Drake does pull off the upset against Miami. Maybe VCU wins as well, because we do expect there to be at least one 12v5 upset. It would be very peculiar if all the 5 seeds won. So I would say I'm very confident in Drake going into today with the information yesterday of both the 5 seeds, Charleston and Duke, winning. Again, this game, Oral Roberts shooting 30% from the field. It was over within the first 7 minutes. Rare scenario, but it happens. They had the best winning streak in Division I coming into it, and they didn't show up. Great defensive performance by Duke. I have Duke into the Sweet 16, and this result is certainly making me very happy. Next, we've got another 8v9 game. So Auburn beats Iowa. Finally, I'm having some luck calling these 8v9 games. I'm 2-1 now, with my only loss coming in the West Virginia game. I think West Virginia probably wins that game 7 out of 10 times. But just analyzing this one, Iowa did have 5 more shot attempts, but they just very uncharacteristic, 7 of 27 from the 3-point line. They had 6 more offensive rebounds. You've got Auburn with more steals and more blocks. So Iowa had more turnovers. I think most people thought Auburn was going to win this game, with it being in Birmingham, Alabama. The committee doing a horrible job giving Auburn, the lower seed, such a drastic advantage. And now Houston is basically forced to play an away game versus a 9 seed in the second round. This was a brutal job by the committee. I don't understand it. They were horrible in their seeding of some of these teams, but this is kind of a chalky result. Auburn was favorites going into this game. They end up winning. I'll take it. Moving on. Northwestern beats Boise State. So this is one I got wrong. And it's very fair to say at this point the Mountain West was ridiculously overrated. Utah State, Boise State, Northwestern in control of basically this entire game overall. And look at the offensive rebounds, man. That is remarkable. 20 offensive rebounds for Boise State. They had 12 more shot attempts, and they still lose. They go 6 of 23 from 3. I'll be honest, this game, it just seems like Boise State had an off shooting night. It happens. Of course, some of that can be Northwestern's defense, but it's not like Northwestern is this super elite defensive team, at least according to the analytics. But listen, we respect Northwestern. This is a really good result for the Big Ten. Boise State had 9 losses coming into this game. They were thought of maybe as the favorite, although Northwestern did flip and they were around 2-point favorites going into it. Again, they were basically winning this entire game. This is a 7v10 matchup. I got a little bit too cute picking Boise State, but they didn't make their shots. It happens. What are you going to do? Next, we have Texas, the 2 seed, destroying Colgate, the 15 seed. So, what a sad situation and a real sad state of affairs this is for Colgate University. A lot of casual people are going to look at this result and think, what do you expect? It's a 2v15. It's a 20-point win for Texas. Guys, look at the 3-point field goals. Texas, if you're a 15 seed and the team you're facing goes 13 of 23 from 3, you've really got no chance. No chance. And Colgate coming into this game was thought of as the better three-point shooting team. They shoot 20%. They make 3 total threes. So really, I think this game was probably over before it even began because we already had the Princeton 2v15 upset over Arizona, and we know the law of the universe doesn't allow 15 seeds beating 2 seeds in the same day. That's just not going to happen. So Colgate gets completely screwed in this tournament. And it's just such a depressing state of affairs because all the casual people are going to look at this and say, yeah, I mean, Texas is way better, when in reality, Texas is not this great three-point shooting team. They just had a crazy day from 3. Colgate is actually the better three-point shooting team. They just had a really off game. The offensive rebounds, very comparable. Texas winning that by 2. I mean, the one big thing, the overall assist numbers, pretty remarkable. 20 assists for Texas, just 6 for Colgate. They struggled shooting, and they lost big. So Texas moving on there. Next, we have Houston beating Northern Kentucky by 11 points with the major injury situation. Marcus Sasser once again hurting his groin, and we don't even know if he's going to play on Saturday. Let me tell everyone, I understand a lot of us have Houston making it very far, possibly winning the tournament. What I'm seeing from Houston, I mean, this is like finding out the girl that you like has an OnlyFans. That's the level of red flag we're looking at here with Houston. They've got the injury. Are you kidding me? Northern Kentucky, a 16 seed, 18 more shot attempts, 7 more offensive rebounds, 6 more steals than Houston. They shoot 27% from the field. If they made a few more threes, we are looking at a 16v1 upset. I'm dead serious. I know Houston is really good defensively. They contest everything. I get it. But guys, 18 more shot attempts for the 16 seed. Come on. I will say, this is another issue with the committee. In no shape or form should Northern Kentucky have been seeded a 16 seed and UNC Asheville a 15. They were underseeded. Northern Kentucky should have been a 15 seed. The analytics said they were actually 21 spots better than UNC Asheville, and they were seeded as a 16 out of the horizon for reasons I do not know. So Houston basically facing a de facto 15 seed still. This is a major red flag of a performance, and now we're going to talk about it in a second. Houston has to face Auburn again in a de facto away game in Birmingham, Alabama, with a possible injury to their best player. This is horror story. I have Houston winning it all. This could totally destroy it. And many of my other brackets that I filled out, this is an issue. But 11-point win there. They do not come close to covering the spread. And when you look at the numbers, it's even worse when it comes to the shot attempts. Next, you have Tennessee beating Louisiana in a 13v4 game, so there were some people picking an upset in this one. Looking at the overall numbers, this is pretty much your typical Tennessee lower scoring win. I have no faith in Tennessee making the Sweet 16, but I did have them winning this game, so I'll take it. And they were kind of up this entire game, but Louisiana made it close there at the end. Tennessee was up by double digits midway through the second half. Louisiana comes back. Overall, neither team shooting very well. The offensive rebounds very comparable. The steals very comparable. Tennessee, the great defense, the number one defensive metrics in the country. They did come away with 4 blocks and they move on. But Tennessee dealing with an injury to their guard. I don't think very many people have any confidence Tennessee is making it to the Sweet 16, but I was happy they were able to hold off the upset because some people did pick the Louisiana over Tennessee upset, and I was not one of them. And then this was kind of one of my best calls, I would say. Penn State over Texas A&M, the 10 over the 7. Listen, sometimes you got to get lucky. And Penn State, 13 of 22 from 3. I feel bad for A&M. because, that probably happens once out of every like 10 games for Penn State. That is crazy shooting. And also Texas A&M, 9 more offensive rebounds, more second chances, but it didn't matter due to the three-point efficiency. Penn State winning this game by 17 points in a blowout. I don't think this game started until like 10:30 or something at night. And A&M, maybe one too many threes, 34 three attempts. You're falling in love with it a little bit too much. And they end up shooting 29% from three. So Penn State, the 10 seed, moving on, advancing, using that three-point shooting. I called this one, and I'm very happy that Penn State was able to back me up. And then the final game of the night, the de facto 16 seed, UNC Asheville, gets annihilated by UCLA. This game wasn't close from the start. This is like a 16v1 type game. That's the vibe it had. There was nothing, fluky about it. Both teams shot the same from three. UCLA was dominant in terms of their offensive rebounding, their blocks, just their steals. But either way, again, this is a de facto 16v1 game. It was not close. UNC Asheville should have been a 16 seed. They were 21 spots worse than Northern Kentucky analytically. UCLA should have been facing Northern Kentucky in this matchup. But I think if you have UCLA going far, like to the Final Four or to the championship, you're very happy seeing this result, an annihilation. And also you've got Houston on that side of the bracket really struggling and dealing with an injury. You've got to be very optimistic if you are a fan of UCLA. And then looking at the bracket update, you've got Duke taking on Tennessee. We expect Duke to win this game as the lower seed. They've been playing great. They just crushed Oral Roberts. Tennessee, just not enough offense. I would say Duke wins that game. Just my early thoughts. Next, we have Northwestern facing UCLA. So, pretty heavy favorite here for UCLA. I was really not a fan of Northwestern as a 7 seed. They did beat Boise State, but I also think some of that was Boise State struggling and having kind of a cold night on offense. UCLA should be, I would say, virtually an auto lock to the Sweet 16. The next game, you've got Penn State taking on Texas for a spot in the Sweet 16. Both of these teams shooting unbelievably from the three-point line. And I really think Penn State might have a chance of upsetting Texas. I know Texas won by 20 over Colgate, but it was heavily aided by going 13 of 23 from the three-point line there. And then you have the doomsday scenario here. You've got Houston taking on Auburn. This game, located in Birmingham, Alabama, an absolute massive mistake by the committee, giving a 9 seed a virtual home game in the second round against a 1 seed. It makes no sense, and it was just seeded completely wrong. Auburn never should have been in this region. And listen, do I think Auburn is going to win this game? I think it's probably like a pick 'em at this point. With the injury to Houston and the way they played against Northern Kentucky, am I crazy for saying this game is going to be really close with everything that's going on? I don't think Auburn was crazy impressive against Iowa, but I am just seeing red flag after red flag after red flag for this Houston team. I'm very worried. We will see. But guys, that is the official update on the day 1, round 1 games. I will be coming out with another video here to update all of my brackets. And then we do have more round 1 games happening today. A smorgasbord, 16 more games coming. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.